Hey guys, the euro dollar found some resistance, but we're still in an uptrend. When can we expect this market to continue in that upward direction? We're going to talk a little bit about that throughout this video. We're also going to talk a little bit about the dollar yen. I see some trading opportunities on both of these pairs. First off, I want to go ahead and apologize because I didn't come out with a weekly market prediction video this week, and that is because I've been battling the flu since Saturday. So this is going to be a pretty short video, but I thought I would throw it together because, as I said, there are some trading opportunities on these two pairs that I see that I think will be educationally valuable for your trading. So I'll go ahead and let the intro and disclaimer roll, and then when we get back, we'll take a look at a couple of trading opportunities on the euro dollar and the dollar yen. So go ahead and click that subscribe button if you're new here to the channel. Check out some of our other videos after this one if you're interested in some free Forex education. Click that like button for me while the intro and disclaimer roll, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay traders, so let's start off on the euro dollar, and as usual, we'll start off on the daily chart. We'll take a look at our trend analysis. This is the first thing we do before we actually decide whether or not we want to place a trade. So what is our trend out here on the daily chart? Is it an uptrend? Is it a downtrend? Well, we know that based on our trend analysis, we have higher highs, higher lows, a higher high, a higher low. We've had a higher high. This could be our next higher low before trend continuation. So what we're seeing is this market being in an uptrend. And yes, we did just create a double top scenario right here before pushing down, but until we break below this level of support right here, this market is still considered an uptrend based on my analysis. So I'm still considering this an uptrend, meaning I'm still looking for long opportunities on this pair. And just to show you a little bit about what I'm actually expecting, right down here we had a very similar situation. We had a market that broke out of a previous level of structure resistance, actually broke above a couple of levels of resistance. Then we had this pull down, this double top scenario, and a break through this little support level, this minor support level that was the neckline for our double top. What happened after that? The market came down, retested our previous support before going into trend continuation and eventually breaking above our double top. Now that scenario is very familiar to what we're seeing right here, and this is somewhat of what we're expecting out of this market from this level as well. So what we have here is the same situation. Market pushed up, broke above a previous level of resistance, pulled down, creating a neckline, a double top, break through the neckline. We're expecting a retest, or really anywhere in this zone, to be a good place to look for long opportunities for trend continuation, just as we saw in the past. That area in the market we just looked at right over here. So that's what we're expecting out of the euro dollar, and how can we take advantage of that? Well, we have our zone right here. We're going to discuss a couple of different ways that we could take advantage of this. We have our zone right here. This is our major zone that we talk about most of the time in weekly market predictions. And guys, if you're interested in getting alerts about those weekly market prediction videos we come out with every Monday, then make sure you're subscribed to our email list and subscribed here to the trading channel to get those alerts first. The markets move fast. You want to be on top of those because we point out these key levels of structure that we're paying attention to for trading opportunities in each of those videos. But as you can see, we have that zone here. In this zone, we will be looking for some type of entry reason. And for those of you in the EAP Training Program, or those of you who have been through the program, you know exactly what we're looking for in this zone. So the zone between 1.2263 and 1.2295 is the zone where we're looking for long opportunities. Now, if we don't get an opportunity there and this market continues down, there's actually a pretty cool trading opportunity down on a lower time frame as well. So what I'm going to do is take this down to a 4-hour chart and show you guys a nice advanced pattern setup down here. Now, before I draw it out, can any of you that are familiar with advanced patterns spot the pattern that I'm talking about? This is going to be an in-trend ABT pattern. The reason I'm calling it ABT is because advanced bat pattern has been trademarked, and it is illegal for me to actually use bat pattern in the educational process. So this is going to be called the ABT. I'm going to go ahead and draw it out for you. It is comparable to the advanced bat. We have an X to A followed by a 50% or more retracement up to our C leg and down to D at the 886. Let's go ahead and draw on our fibs. Make sure that that was correct. A little low on our D leg. So we're looking at the 1.22 even handle area for the completion of this ABT pattern. And the great thing about this pattern is that we know from looking at our daily chart and identifying the trend that we're still in an uptrend on the daily chart. And what does that mean that we're expecting? Well, that means we're expecting a trend continuation out of this market, at least a retest of this previous resistance level. What does that mean for this advanced pattern? Well, that means that we can take traditional targets for advanced patterns, which normally come in around the 382 retracement for our first targets. So we would be looking at something like this with a stop loss below our X for our first targets. And since we know this market is in trend on a daily chart, we can actually, if it fits in with your trading plan, take our second position off closer to that daily level of structure that we were talking about, because we are expecting trend continuation. We're expecting at least a retest of that level. So that's a couple of different ways we're planning on taking advantage of trend continuation here on the euro dollar. One way, as I said, for EAP Training Program members, we're looking for long opportunities in this area in our yellow box. And if that doesn't work out, we can be looking for this in trend advanced pattern. So now let's take a look at the dollar yen and discuss the different trading opportunities we're looking at for that pair. And we're also going to discuss a trade we took on that pair that banked in over 150 pips. I'm going to talk you guys through the analysis of that trade we took in the EAP. So let's go ahead and go over to the dollar yen. So last week on the dollar yen, we were talking about this 108.70 level as being major structure support. We could look for counter trend opportunities. As you can see, the dollar been on a downslide here lately, but we knew this level would provide some type of counter trend opportunity if we got the correct entry reason on a lower time frame. And we ended up getting a nice entry reason based on the EAP Training Program. So what I'm going to do is share a clip with you guys from last week's weekly market predictions, where we pointed out this level and talked about it being a great spot to look for a counter trend entry reason. And then I'm going to show you guys the trade we actually placed in the EAP Training Program that banked in a little over 150 pips on this counter trend trade. So let's go ahead and take a look at that clip first, and then I'll be right back to discuss a little more about the analysis that went into this trading opportunity. Way down to the 108.97 level we were discussing last week. At this level, as you can see, we had a little bit of support out of the market with these two candle wicks here, pushing the market back up, and then we have this big bearish candle pushing the market down. Now, currently, we're just consolidating around this level, so what we want to see is either another bearish close somewhere down below this previous low, and if that's the case, then we'll expect trend continuation down to 107.52, which will be our next level of possible counter trend support. Or we want to see this market start to close back above the 108.97 level. If that's the case, then we can start looking for some counter trend opportunities at this level, maybe to push the market back up to the 110.5 area. So here we are back on that dollar yen chart. And as you guys just saw from that clip in last week's video, we talked about if the market started closing back above this 108.7 level, then we would be looking for counter trend opportunities to go up to 110.5, and that's exactly what we ended up getting here on the dollar yen. We got some closes back above that 108.7 level. We ended up getting an entry reason down a lower time frame that we're going to take a look at in just a second. And this market did end up pushing up enough to hit our first targets, along with second targets that were placed right up here at that 110.5 level. So what we're going to do now is actually take a look at the email that was sent out to everyone in the EAP Training Program for this trade, showing you guys that we actually did place a trade based on this analysis. So let's go ahead and go over to that email. Here you have the dollar yen. This was a 4-hour long trade. This was based on a strategy we used in the EAP Training Program called the aggressive entry. Right here we explain a little bit about why we were entering the trade. Of course, some of that is going to be blurred out. And also with these emails, we have an entry, a stop, and our first target. So let's head back over to the dollar yen, take it down to a 4-hour chart, and discuss a little more about how we got involved in this trade. And guys, if you're interested in getting email analysis like this 3 to 5 times per week on trades that we place, sometimes based on these weekly market prediction videos, then feel free to click the link in the description labeled EAP Training Program. I've left a 30% off discount link in the description below this video labeled EAP. So back over on the dollar yen, let's go ahead and take it down to a 4-hour chart. Here we are, guys, and this is where we got involved in the trade, was somewhere around in this area. And we used an entry reason that we have in the EAP Training Program called the aggressive entry. But as you can see, there would have been multiple reasons to get involved here. We have this daily level of structure, and I'm almost sure that if I bring up an RSI, we're going to be oversold in this area. And we are. We actually have RSI divergence here. Here we have a low, and if we look at the RSI down here, that low is in the oversold area. And then we have a lower low on price action. And if we look down here on RSI, this next low, that's what we call divergence. It's when our indicator is showing higher lows and price action is showing lower lows, or the opposite of that for bearish divergence. We also had a nice double bottom right here. Market coming down, giving us 1 bottom, 2 bottom before shooting up right here at this major level of daily support. So again, guys, understanding that it's not just about support and resistance. It's also not just about having the perfect entry reason. It's about combining conditions and entry reasons in order to create a profitable strategy that gives you an edge over the market. no matter how slight that edge may be, that you can consistently place trades based on and consistently perform in the market. Here's our profit taking tools for that EAP trade. We had a first target of 80 pips and our second target was right around that daily level of structure at 110.5 in that area, and that second target brought us in around 157 pips. And guys, I don't personally believe in placing trades without knowing the reasons behind it. I don't believe in signal services, and for that reason in the EAP training program, there's also an entire training course that goes over the strategies we use, the conditions and entry reasons that we use on a daily basis here at the trading channel, our risk management plan, and how to backtest each of those strategies. Again, guys, if you're interested in any of that, then the link is in the description. So that's how we traded the market based on what we saw in last week's weekly market predictions. Now let's go ahead and head out to a daily chart and check out what we're looking for when it comes to this week here on the dollar yen. So here we are on that dollar yen daily chart, the same place we always start our analysis out. And what are we going to look for first? Well, just as with the euro dollar we were talking about earlier, what we're looking for first is what trend is this market in based on a daily time frame? Well, we have a high coming to a lower high, followed by a lower low, lower high, and a lower low. This, in fact, is quite possibly going to be our lower high, and we'll see some trend continuation out of this market. And that's what we're expecting here out of the dollar yen. Now, how do we take advantage of that? Well, there was already an opportunity to take advantage of that for trend continuation traders. The market came up to this 110.5 area that we discussed in last week's weekly market predictions, testing previous structure support as resistance, and since then pushed all the way back down to the support level. Now, trend continuation trades end at the previous level of structure. Trend following trades would continue down and break into new lower lows, and we're actually expecting some trend continuation out of the dollar yen. So what we're looking for is this market to break into new lows. And now that we have that as our prediction, now that we predict the dollar yen will continue lower, we can actually set ourselves up with a trading opportunity. If we take this down to a smaller time frame, now that we know our bias is to go short because of our daily time frame trend analysis, well, we have a short bias here on the dollar yen. And looking here at the 4-hour chart, do you guys notice anything in particular about this chart? What about this advanced pattern we have here? On this chart, on the 4-hour time frame, we have an advanced Gartley pattern coming in X to A to B, B to C, and a CD completion is going to be right at the 786 retracement. Let's go ahead and draw that in with our fibs, make sure everything is correct. We're a little high for that 786, we'll bring it down. And that's what that trade would look like. So that's what we're looking at here on the dollar yen. We have a bearish bias based on our daily chart, the trend we see out there. And then now we also have an advanced pattern setting up in the way of an advanced bearish Gartley pattern. And guys, if you want to learn our exact rules and ratios for these patterns, along with how to create an entire trading plan around them, including how to backtest these patterns, a look at my own backtesting data for a couple of pairs, a look at how to create spreadsheets to do backtesting on and to keep up with your own trading, risk management, money management, creating an entire trading plan, and also some bonus features. The Advanced Pattern Mastery course is almost completed. Once that is completed, the price of that course will double, but right now it's at 50% discount because the 2 bonus sections in the course are not complete yet. So if you'd like to take advantage of the half-off discount on the Advanced Pattern Mastery course and learn how we trade these advanced patterns to profit in the market on a daily basis, then you can click the link in the description labeled APMC, or Advanced Pattern Mastery course. Alright guys, so that's what we're looking at on the euro dollar and on the dollar yen when it comes to a couple of different trading opportunities we're taking a look at and our analysis on these 2 pairs. We've had some other things happen based around our weekly market predictions from last week, like a nice pop off of this support level we pointed out last week here on the pound dollar. We also had some trend continuation out of the Aussie dollar as we pulled back up into this other support level we pointed out last week that turned into resistance. Here on the dollar Swiss, we just broke above the next resistance levels that we were talking about on this pair. But Monday, we'll talk about all of that. As I said, I'm trying to battle with the flu right now. That's the reason that there wasn't a market predictions video that came out this Monday, but everything should be back on track and back to normal come next week. And I may release the video a little earlier during the weekend if I start to feel a little bit better. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope it was valuable for your trading. I wish you the best of luck in your future trades, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.